Welcome to TechbrothersIT. In this video, we are going to talk about data-driven subscription, and especially when it comes to the multi-value parameter. I have seen many articles and I have faced many issues with that. So what we are going to do, we are going to create our report with multi-value parameter, and then we are going to deploy and create a data-driven subscription. I have some tips that I need to discuss with you to make this data-driven subscription work with especially multi-value parameters. So you have to pay attention. You might have to create your new store procedure the way I have created. You have to write the query for your data-driven subscription the way I have written. So there would be a lot of changes you have to make, or you follow the steps if you are creating the first time, and you will be just fine. So let's go ahead and create this report. Now what we are going to do, we are going to create a new let's open actually SSRS project. I have many of them already, so let's open one, and here I'm going to call this TechbrothersIT underscore SSRS. And I'm not explaining whole lot here, like what is the multi-value parameters and all that, because many of you guys are already facing this issue, and that's why you are here. So but anyways, this report, when you walk through this one, is going to explain everything. Now let's this is my shared data source, and I'm pointing to TechbrothersIT database, and I have a table, and the table is called the total sale. That's what I'm going to use for my data. So let's start from total sale. Use TechBrothers, and then we will take a look on total sale. Okay, here that's the table we will be using. We will be using region and as our main parameter, and then country, our multi-value parameter. So you see that here in Asia I have two countries, Pakistan and India, and in Europe I have France and Germany. So that's this is going to be our parent parameter, region, and then this is going to be our multi-value parameter. So it will be cascading parameter, and that's what we are going to use here. Okay, let's go back here and take a look. So we create our report. We are going to add a new item. I'm going to call it whatever you want to call it. Let's call it multi-value report. Okay, now what we do here, we have to use the data source here. So we are going to add a data source here. I'm going to call it DSTB TechBrothers, and here I'm going to use the shared data source. So let's use that one. And now what we are going to do, here we are going to create a data set. Now if you notice that in multi-value parameters, what people do, they will create a store procedure, or mostly we will create a query where we'll say select star from dbo.total sale, where region is equal to region @region. That's our first parameter, and then you have and country in your other parameter, and in country. That's what you will have. So you can pass multiple values for the country. That's gonna work just fine here in this scenario if we will create our report here. So let's go ahead and create a table, and in this table I'm going to have a salesperson first name, last name, and then item sold. And the last thing I would like to see country and region, because that's what I want to show you with the multi-value. And our region is the main parameter, and then our country is going to be multi-value parameter. Okay, here let's make it bold. And now if you go to parameters, here you have region, and the region value can come from any let's say let's create a data set for that one. So we are going to go ahead and create a data set here. So add a data set, and we call this data set DS region. So from here, okay, select distinct region from DBO sale table, total sale. We are all good here. Refresh field, region is region, fine. And other data set what we can create is that can be create a new data set, and that can be our country. So I'm going to call this DS country. So but I'm going to show you the problem. This is not how we are going to use it. We are going to do some little trick there. So I'm going to call this select a distinct country from DBO total sale, where region is equal to @region. So we are passing that value. Now it should be just fine. We go to parameters and here region parameter, and we are saying available values get from the query. Okay, so from the region get the value, and for country get the value too. Okay, from which from the our get value from our query, and that's going to be country. Okay, great. Now if I run my report, this is a very fancy nice report, cascading parameter, and it can accept multi values as well. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look. It's taken some time to preview this report for us. Come on, sometime I don't know how big this report is. This is like 10-line report, but this is Visual Studio's taken some time to bring this report. Come on, I'm just waiting. I am not actually planning to cut this video or edit this video. I want to put as it is, whatever I faced. So anyways, it's still taking time. I don't know. I don't want this one to go into not responding. Okay. Okay, finally we were back, but as right here, so we have a region Asia here, and then we have country India, and that's because we did not accept value country as multi-value. So I'm going to go here and say allow multiple values, because our query is returning multiple values. So our region Asia, and you see that I have India and Pakistan right there. Okay, so now if I go ahead and view my report, it should bring me data for 2 countries. You see right here, so I have Pakistan, and then I have data for India right there, and region is Asia. Now if I go back, go to Europe, and here let's refresh. If I go back here, and then I can refresh for Europe, what's going to happen is going to get me, if I go to Europe, it's going to get me France and Germany. So you see right there. Okay, so it's gonna just work fine. Now if I implement this report, if I will deploy this report, so let's go ahead and deploy this report and create a data driven subscription, and I will show you the problem what I have here. Let's go back here. Now we are gonna go ahead and deploy this report. So deploy. I already have see here I already set cannot deploy the report because the shared data source TB data source, that's the report reference, does not exist on the server. Okay, so we can deploy actually our data source first, and then we can deploy this data source first. Because named already exists. Okay, so this is a kind of I have to, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to the report server, and let's take care of that. So TB data source, maybe I can just delete this one and then redeploy, because I might be working on this one earlier. So in the data sources, what we are gonna do, we are gonna deploy this report and both of the things. Deploy. So it's we are trying to deploy the whole thing. We are going to deploy the data source and also these 2 reports right there. Okay, so this is should be there now. Now let's go back to the report, and in the prod reports, let's see which folder it is. Let's go back, and you can see that the report is deployed there. Excuse me. So if you want to see the deployment part, you can see here I have this data sources here, and that's where my reports are going to go, and this is where my server information is. So that's where I deploy my reports. So now if you see that I have Asia here, and I can select Pakistan and India, and I can view the report just fine. Not a big deal. Now if I will go ahead and I'm going to create the subscription for this one. So let's go and create subscription. Here I go to manage and edit in a and go to subscription, and we call it new subscription. Okay, subscription cannot be created or edited because the credential used to run the report are not stored. If it is a linked report, the link is no longer valid. Okay, so what it has to be done, so we have this report, and this report is used in our data source. Which data source is used in DS TechbrothersIT? That's what it is used in. Okay, so we go back here, and then we go to data sources, and here DS Techbrothers. So we are going to go there, manage, and we are going to see that. So this is a run-in by my credential right now. It want to run, or it should run by some credentials, such as maybe a SQL username and password, or you have some service account that you have created. Okay, so in this case, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the username and password, and what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go and create a user. I'm going to call this user in this, let's go to security, create a login, new login, and I'm going to call this login SSRS DDS. So I call this, and this is SQL Server Authentication, and I'm going to give a password DBA123 for me, and DBA123. That's the password. I'm going to go to the user mapping, and here I will say Tech Brothers, provide all the information. So I'm going to make this one a DB owner on this one. Okay, so it can run anything from this database. So now we go back here, and we provide our username SSRS underscore DDS. So data, and here is my password. Now we are going to go ahead and check the information. We are going to test successfully, runs fine, apply, and now we should be all good. Now let's go back again and create a data driven subscription. Now we go back to the actual folder where the report is, and here our report is called MV report, and we go to manage, and we go to subscription, and here I'm going to say new subscription. What I want to do, I want to create this report, and for each of the region I would like to create the PDF. That's what I would like to create. So data driven subscription here, and I'm going to say okay, file delivery, and now what I'm going to do here, I have to create a data set. So edit data set. Now here you have to create a query that can provide some information such as file name, path, render, or file extension, username, password that you use to put on the share folder, and then you have parameter region and country. So these are the different information you can pass by using this data set. In my case, what I have done, so remember our report is accepting such as let's say if I would say region Asia. First of all, if I will say region comma country, what's going to happen from db.total sale? So now there is a problem. What problem we have? As we have multiple countries for the same region, we are getting different records here. So you see that if I will say distinct here, that's gonna work, but it's gonna reduce some records. So you see that for Asia and India, so this is fine. If I just want to create a separate file for each of the country, that should be fine, because I have Asia and then I pass the parameter India, it should be just fine. Then there should be another file created for Asia and Pakistan. But if I would like to pass Asia and Pakistan and India and create one file for this one, that's where the problem comes. Or if I would like to create the Europe and then I pass France and Germany, that's where the problem is. I cannot pass that. So now what I was thinking, because if you guys see that in real time when we pass this value, how we do that? So we pass this let's say select I'm going to say Asia, and then how we provide that, we provide India and Pakistan. That's what we see in the parameter, right? So I will say as region, and then I will say as country, and then I can probably just say Asia as file name too. So I just want to have file name as Asia, as country. Okay, So if I will provide this information, and then it should work fine, but it does not work in data-driven subscription. That's the problem. So how I was thinking about this one, how like a country, I concatenated these countries, because if I run my SSRS report here for Asia, let's say, and here I see that India and Pakistan. That's how I see that. Like in real SSRS, I see with the comma. So that's what I was saying. Oh, let me provide with a comma. So I use this one, but it does not work. So if you guys want to try that, you can try, but it didn't really work. So that's where the problem is. Now, to solve this problem, I tried different things, like also I passed this value. I have a single quotes around each of the values, and then pass that one as well in the data driven subscription, but that did not work as well. Now, what solution I brought for this one? So what I did, I created another report, and I'm gonna create a new report, and let's go back here, add new item, report, and I'm gonna call this one working. Okay, and in this report I use the data source that I have written a store procedure. So this is how I have written my store procedure. This is exactly you need to do. What you're gonna do, you're gonna create your store procedure, then you are gonna say first parameter region, whatever the parent parameter you have, then you're gonna say country. In my case, it's a multi-value parameter. Okay, then you said as, then you say as begin, and declare var country. So you declare auth variable inside the parameter, and just var 500. In my case, I'm not passing tons of countries, so it's going to be just fine. Then I set var country replace whatever in the country there is a comma, I'm going to replace with the single quotes around it. So, and then I just print it out to show you guys how to work. Now what's going to happen, I have selected all the columns, and here I said region is equal to region and country in var country. So the parameter is this one, what we prepared. So you have to prepare this values after getting from the parameter. Okay, and now at the end you are going to say execute SQL, and this is how it's going to work. I'm going to put this in a description, and from there you can copy and paste as it is. Just pass your values for parameter here and on top, but remember that this part has to be done as well. Okay, so now if I pass this value, let's do the print part of it. I'm gonna uncomment this print and show you how it's gonna work. Now we are not executing, we are just printing. Okay, so now if I take this store procedure and execute, let's say in Asia, and then I pass a country such as Pakistan, India, and then what's going to happen? So you're going to see that. Okay, so first statement, if you notice that it has put single quotes around it, okay, just around at the end here and here, right? Now I have look at this right here, this part is that. Okay, now with the dynamic SQL, what I have here, I have added some extra single quotes around it in right here. Okay, so this is going to take care of it's going to put another single quote around India on the right side, and a single quote around the Pakistan on the left side. So this statement will look like this. So you have Asia here, and then you have country Pakistan and India. So this is how it is going to become a statement for you. Now once at the end it's going to execute this statement, and you are going to be just fine. So if you copy this and run this statement, this is going to be bring the data. So you see that for region Asia, for 2 countries, it brought the data, and on top you really don't have to tell which type of parameter you are using, single value or multi-value and all those kind of things. You don't have to even bother. So it will be just 2 parameters. These are single value parameters, but we are going to deal with this one, how we will pass the concatenate value of these country parameter. So this is how we are going to do that. So in the data driven subscription, what we are going to do, we are going to have pass the region and then a region as the same file name, and then I'm going to go through the country list and concatenate them, so by separating with the comma. So this is how, once you run this query, it's going to give you region, your file name, and then it's going to pass these country as a concatenated values. So you see that for each of the region they are concatenated. Once this value will pass to your store procedure, okay, like this is going to work just fine in data driven subscription. So let's check that out. Now what we are going to do, we are going to just remove the print part, execute it. I know video has become lengthy, but all the concept has to be delivered, so I don't mind if you guys hate me for that. I don't know, because I face this issue a lot, and I'm gonna work it through anyways. So many people maybe get benefit from there. Okay, so here we are using this store procedure, so I'm gonna call this DS TB, and here we pass this shared data source. Okay, and now here we create the first data set TB. It's a store procedure, and I'm gonna call this one total sale, SP total sale. Fields will come here. So that's another problem. Now what happened if you have this store procedure with dynamic SQL, the fields will not come there, so you have to add each field there. So let's do that, or other way around. I have the other way around too. You can do one thing, you will say into some temp table, but we will remove that. Okay, so we execute, we alter this table, we went back, we went to query, refresh fields. Now we go to fields. Still didn't do it. I'm hoping I should take care of it. Okay, fields, and now it's not bringing it. So let me go back and say store. I can cheat on this one. Maybe I will just say select star from dbo.total sale, and then bring the fields. Okay, I have all the fields here. I don't need the ID, so I just delete that, and because my store procedure does not give this one, so I go back to the thing and just leave it there. So fine. It's not working. I don't know, so I have to kind of add each of the field. Sorry, query field. So I go back here, so maybe I could have only left with 3 or 4 fields for you. How lengthy this video is gonna be, I don't know, but it's okay. So we don't need this temp table, putting into temp table. So I just remove this one because we don't need this. Okay, let's be quick about that, adding these fields. How many more to go? Maybe 2 or 3, 4. Okay, so we have a product name, item sold, what I will do, I will put in the video, like skip the first part where I was trying to explain the whole thing. If many of you people already know that what's going on, and why they're trying to solve this one, so they don't have to worry about that. So what I will do, I will skip that part if you already know, so you don't have to worry about that. So I just kind of try to, I hate editing videos, so it's not my thing. Like sometimes I speak for 30 minutes, and if something goes wrong, I recreate the videos instead of like edit the video. I'm very kind of lazy on that part. Like it's hard for me to actually use the software. I don't know, I don't like using software such as Filmora or video editing softwares, and I rather recreate the whole video sometime. Everybody has their choices. I'm trying to entertain you guys, meanwhile I'm creating all the fields. So next time I might have could have just 3 fields. But that's the problem with the dynamic SQL. If you use the inside the store procedure and you have to use an SSRS, it does not bring all those fields. Okay, so we should be all good now. Hit OK. Now our dataset has all the fields and we use the store procedure. We don't need to use any actually datasets for our dataset here to pass the values, because our query in the dataset, what we are going to use in the data driven subscription, that should be used. So that should be fine. We don't need to pass any values here. Okay, so here item sold, and then I will have a country here, and then finally I will have a region here. Okay, now let's make this a little nice, at least readable. So we good, so all good. Let's deploy this report, and we call this one working. So I'm going to go ahead and deploy this report. This is deployed. Let's go to the reports here. Let's refresh, and now we have a working report here. So if I will pass Asia here, and then I will pass India and Pakistan, it should run just fine. So you see that it did run for India but did not run for Pakistan. So what I'm doing wrong here, I just remove the space, and now I see that. Okay, so this is how it is going to pass the parameter India, Pakistan, then it should just work fine. So if I will do Europe, and then if I pass Germany, France, it should do it. And for USA, I don't have any other country. USA is only region and country same. So anyway, the 3 region report should be created by data driven subscription. So we are going to go to the data driven here subscription, new subscription, and here I'm going to call this data driven. It might ask me one thing, so I'm going to go back here and go to working. I go to manage and change our data source first, because that's the data source I should be using, and it has TechbrothersIT reports or data sources, and here DS TBIT, save. Now we should be fine here, and here we create a new subscription. So the owner of this is the Techbrothers /Amir. This is going to be data driven subscription, and I'm going to create a Windows share, and then I have this place. I'm going to provide the file name. I'm going to provide the region, country, and file name for this. And how I'm going to do that? This is how I am going to do it. See, remember that. So first I provide the region in one parameter, then a file name, and then the last is country, and I have concatenated the values from my table. So this is what you're going to use. So you provide concatenated values here. Now paste your query here, and then let's what we do here, and custom data source. Here we select the data source on which we need to run this query, and here is our data source TBIT. Validate our query. It validated successfully. Great. So now we are going to go apply and pass all those values. So here what I have, file name, okay, and that comes from the data set, and that's my file name, and then path of this will get from the data set. I don't have it, I'm going to pass it directly. So what I have here, I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to say Tech Brothers, that's my computer name, /C : report. Okay, no, that didn't work. So so this is the Tech Brothers and then you have a folder here called report. That's what I'm using. So I have created this shared folder, and how you can do that, you can go to the properties here if you have to provide the sharing, and this is my shared folder. You can have say share and give the permission. So I have given the permission to Amir in this case. So TechbrothersIT / Amir, that's my user that has permission on, and he's the owner of this share. So that's where we will be creating our report. Now I'm gonna go ahead and paste it there, and here render format. Okay, so it's going to be PDF, and the write mode, override it, if overwrite or increment, file extension, if you want to enter. I'm gonna leave this one as it is. PDF is fine. Username, so enter value here, and this is what going to be TechbrothersIT / Amir. That's my username, and I'm gonna pass the parameter. Okay, and now we are going to go to the parameters. So here from the dataset, region, and we get the value for country as well. Okay, so now what we are going to do, we are going to create subscription. Once we create the subscription, it's going to create a SQL Server agent job right here. So we go and refresh, and now we should see a SQL Server agent job. So right here, so there are two of them. So because I created one earlier, but let's give a try. There is a query that we can use to find out which one is it. I don't have only two of them, so I'm gonna just give a try for the second one. And let's go back here, and it should, once I refresh, it should show me the status. So right here, last run. Okay, so it says 0 processed of 3. Okay, so now we go back and refresh. So what's happening? I have no idea. Okay, so that's where my report is. Okay, I do not see any report created there. That's great. Okay, so there could be multiple things. One thing I want to see, I believe I know that what could be. I will say / Amir. That's the username I want to use. And for password, maybe my password was wrong, that could be possibility, and the rest of that should be fine. So let's go back again. The job completed successfully. So your SQL Server agent jobs are going to be successful always. It's going to try, and there could be a failure under the hood that is possible, And here we do not see any SSRS report. Great. So what we do now, we are gonna go and dig it. So what we are gonna do here, we are gonna go to this computer, see, and then we are gonna go to the program files, and here we should find SQL Server, and then we are gonna find our RS. So that's our reporting services and log files, and now we are going to dig into that. Let's open it, and let's go all the way end, and here what we see, cannot cancelled chunks. What is this? Maybe I need to look on this one. See, let's see what we have. IO exception. Let's open this one again. I don't know. Do you guys see any error? I don't know if I'm looking into the what is that? The program files, program file 86, SQL Server 130. No, that's not. I was thinking like if That's where I have more. No, actually it should be no, not program data, program files. Yes, I'm looking at the right spot. I don't know why I'm not seeing the information. So this is my SQL server, but I need to look into the SSRS. So reporting services, report server, and let me see if I am looking at the right. Oh, could be that, because I did not sort it. Now is this fine, and let's see what exception it is or what error we have. So it is saying execution permission was denied on this SP. Okay, so we know that what is the error now. So what we have to do, we have to give the permission to the which data source we are using, DB schema, and the store procedure. Let's see. So we got it now. Okay, so that was right. I did not sort it by the date. That's why I was looking to all over. So I'm going to go ahead and do it. Now I'm going to go to the data sources. Let's go to the, and I'm using TBIT. Okay, which data source I have. So let's go to the data sources, and here remember TBIT. Go to manage and see what username we are using. TBIT. Okay, not this one. We should be using this one, and that's the one we should be using. Yep, that's the one that has permission, so we should be using this data source, DS TechbrothersIT. Okay, so let's go back to our report. Working, not working. Go back to manage. But we are fine. We are just have to change the. I was pointing to the wrong data source. So that does not have permission on the account does not have permission for this data. So the other one on the store procedure. That's the reason. It's good way to learn, because sometime these all things can happen and you would know that. Okay, so we go ahead and run this job again. That's gonna run the data driven subscription. Okay, and now we should be seeing some files here, hopefully. Okay, folder is still empty. Yes, they came. Thanks God, they finally came. They arrived. So Asia should have 2 values for country. So if you see here, I have Pakistan data and I have India data. So it means the multi-value parameter thing work in our case. And now we are going to go to Europe, and here we should see Germany and France. So we see France here, and then finally we see Germany. Now you guys see that how I made this work. So first of all, step 1, you need to create a store procedure with the dynamic query, and your store procedure will have 2 parameters. One parameter for your parent, and the second parameter where you are passing a multi-values. And for that parameter, you are gonna change the comma that comes from the value itself and put single quotes around it. Now you're gonna prepare your dynamic SQL all the way there, and then you are saying, okay, where your region or parent parameter is like that, and then you're gonna put an extra single quote around it at the left and right, and then have your second parameter. That's actually your multi-value parameter. Now for the data driven subscription, you will be passing the values like this. You will be using this query where you will concatenate the values with single quotes. With comma right here. See, so first your first parameter, and then provide the file name, whatever column you want to use, and second you are going to concatenate all those values from the table and pass them like this for your country or whatever the parameter you have. I will have this query in the description as well. Now the last thing on that one. So now in the data driven subscription, once you create the file your report here, you only need to use a store procedure. You don't need to create any other data set for your region or country or anything, because that will be provided through the data driven subscription data set. So just create one data set And don't tell like you have your parameter is a single value or multi-value and all that. You see that I even didn't provide it as a multi-value parameter, because we are dealing with that inside our store procedure, and we are passing the values as a comma separated, and then dealing inside the store procedure and handling that inside the store procedure. So that's how we are doing it. And what else we have? Oh, I think we have wasted a lot of time on this one, and I hope this solution will work for you, and I appreciate you listen me. And I'm sorry I took your whole lot of time. I was thinking about this creating this multi-value data-driven subscription for a long time. I did all these experiments, but experiments take time. So I'm sorry if I took you a lot of time. But if you like my effort, go ahead and subscribe my channel, and I will see you guys in next video. I will put this store procedure and query in the description, so you can enjoy this data driven subscription with multi-value parameter. Thanks very much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.